Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. This guy right here is Evil Mike, or Mike if you prefer, and I got a review for you today. From Image Comics, we're going to be talking about The Sacrificers, issue number 1. It is written by Remender, art by Max Fiumara, colors by Dave Mccaig, and letters by Rus Wooton. This cover is also done by Julian Tedesco. It's cover B, by the way. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe on this guy's channel. It doesn't cost you anything. It's all free. The likes, comments, the subscription, it's all free. I don't have a schedule, so if you'd like to be inclined when I drop a review, you might want to hit that bell. It'll keep you in the know. Alright, so The Sacrificers, right? I had very little idea what this was. It did end up on my list, but really due to this cover, I kind of thought it was pretty dope, the animal characters kind of thing. I've always been a fan of that when they use it right, but this book didn't disappoint, so let's get into it. We start out at a random house, you know, in a town. There's not a lot of backstory on a lot of the characters, a lot of the world. It's just a different world. We're not on Earth. It looks and resembles Earth, but as you can see, we got some chickens here that look more like they got like bug faces. I don't know. But basically, we have like a pigeon, human-looking family. I'm just gonna say pigeons, and they're sitting down to a dinner. They're actually saying a prayer and being thankful for what they had been giving. As this is going on, you can see this girl in the pink here. She's actually stealing food while the father is giving this prayer. And we find out, you know, why really soon, and it's because there's this guy that's outside of the window. He's watching them as this prayer goes down. The father gets all irate, runs out to the barn where this guy is hiding, and we find out it's one of the pigeon dad's sons. For some reason, he is shunned. There's a comment that the dad says to the son, something about boasting, but we're never told like what the son does or why he's being forced to live outside and shunned. But at this point, because of, you know, him interrupting the dinner, the dad commences to beat him. He takes off his belt and whips him a couple times, and there's blood and everything. But the poor little pigeon boy, he ends up staying out there in the barn. The dad goes back to his family. Later on in the middle of the night, we see that the other daughter, she runs out to the, you know, out to the barn, and she ends up giving which I would assume is her older brother some food, as you can see here, and that's kind of where this issue leaves off. There is a spoken thing from the sister to the, I'm assuming, older brother, and she's thanking him. It's not the other way around, like he's thanking her for the food. So evidently he did, you know, he's somebody, you know, he's something to her kind of thing. We get this glorious blast page. Now I want to highlight some things because we're about to be greeted by another race of characters, but we got this sun over here and this moon. They are going to play a major part in what's to come, but I would assume we're greeted with the character's real main character, and this happens to be Saluna. We find out she is a mix of the sun and the moon. Her mother being Luna, the moon, and her dad being Rukos, the sun, basically. She's sitting here, she's doing some like kind of homework or whatever, like history report or whatever. She ends up hearing a ding dong and she ends up running off. She runs past some servants and some other stuff, and she stops before she gets to the room because we are greeted by her father, Rukos, and his current mistress. Her name is Zaya. Zaya is complaining about his wife, Luna. Zaya is the same race as Rukos is, these fire people, as you can see. And Luna being from the moon, she is not the same race or whatever. You can kind of see in the daughter, I would assume, what the mother kind of looks like. We do get a picture of the mother as one of the things that the daughter ran past right here, in a family portrait kind of thing, but she's still kind of shrouded in shadows kind of thing. There's not a lot of detail into her. But that's basically what this whole conversation between Zaya and Rukos, they're basically, Zaya's kind of mad that he's still married with Luna kind of thing, and he should be married to her, and for some reason he needs to be married to Luna. It's not really discussed. I could imagine, you know, being the sun and the moon kind of thing. But eventually, after eavesdropping for so long, we find out like two things: that there's a gala that's about to happen. Luna is going to be there. Ruckus mentions to Zaya that she needs to behave during this time, and that's kind of when they find out the dad knows that Saluna is eavesdropping and listening in, and she basically claims that she wants to go to the gala now that she is 18. The dad says that that's not going to happen, and Saluna kind of walks off all mad and says that she's going to get whatever she wants kind of thing. And then we get to see Ruckus go to work. We see him like smash his hands. There's all these like little flame lizards that come out. They end up going to this pot. They end up turning back into fire. And they ignite the whole ground around him. And we see why. He's basically like, you know, igniting the sun. And it kind of flips over to show us, you know, that it is igniting the sun on the planet that's below. And you can see like Ruckus's face up here in the sun. And a weird little, like, you know, I imagine it's a chicken that's supposed to be doing it, or a rooster, but it doesn't look like a rooster. We go back to the pigeon family, and now that the sun has come up, it looks like it's a new season, and we are greeted by a new visitor at the door. Not friendly looking visitors, and I'll say this, these visitors look dope. I love the design. We do not get any kind of names. They look kind of like knights or somebody that works for the kingdom kind of thing. But this guy in the front just mentions that it's time for the harvest, and he has come for this family's sacrificer. The dad mentions that the sacrificer that this family had recently passed away. He died during like the last season or something like that, so the family doesn't currently have a sacrificer. The armored guy that, you know, that's come for the sacrificer doesn't care about all this and still wants a sacrificer. And so the dad has to give him somebody. He ends up giving him the son that's in the barn, even though the mother is screaming no and the daughter is screaming no. Eventually the son does step up and you know, pleads to the family that it needs to be him, that's his role. He literally claims, I am the sacrifice kind of thing. And that's kind of where, you know, we leave off with this. We see that the family is distraught, the daughter and the mother. Of course, the dad, and it looks like the other boys in the family aren't so distraught. But we don't have that backstory yet on why why he's being treated like this, and then, you know, yada yada yada. But at the very end, the sacrifice is told to stay in line, that they need to move in unison. They blow a horn and they commence to move out. We get like the very last page that kind of tells us what what they might be heading to, and it looks like they're going to be sacrificed to the sun, to the great Rockos. There is a huge letter here from Rick Remender on what this book is going to be about, like the theme kind of thing, and he mentions he's a huge David Lynch fan, so am I. But basically he's going to be mixing different, inspirations and stuff like that, and he's basically going to be telling like 3 or 4 stories within this book. At the very end, we do get a cover preview for the next cover, and not just one, we actually get 3 covers. This one's just highlighted, which I do like that guy, he looks cool. But that is basically this issue. My thoughts, I loved it. Man, it was fantastic. It is a really quick read, actually, and there's a lot of words, but it's just, like, right from the beginning, I was enthralled by the whole family situation, and then it jumps over to, Rocco, and you're finding out that he's the son. I was like, yes, this is fantastic. I can't wait to see where this is. I love the world building, the art, the colors, everything was fantastic. The lettering. This would be a very high recommendation at this point. It just dropped today. So if you happen to pass it by, but for some reason, I highly suggest you go back and grab this sucker, because I have a feeling this is going to be a big book. But hey, that's my review. Please comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. If you didn't like it, if you did, I love hearing those kind of things. But that's all I got for you. I'll let you guys go.